Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Noel.
And we thought we'd put together a quick summary video for this week.
Yeah.
I guess it's the weekly summary, so we're doing this every week.
Yeah.
Most of what we did this week was sort of getting in... Shut the fuck up. Shut.
Fuck you, pigeon. I'm gonna throw a rock at the pigeon.
It's a crow.
It's a crow. Oh shit. But we don't want to piss off a crow.
Don't throw rocks at my house. So the first thing we're going to talk about is literally like what we did this week,
Yeah,
and then we'll move
yeah.
on to like
What we learned.
the lovey-dovey stuff.
Yeah.
So for the first couple of days, we mostly focused on setting up the website, setting up the social media, setting up the video. So like we knew what we were doing. So later in the project, when we want to be focusing more on product development and getting the Kickstarter up, all of that stuff's in place.
Sure.
And yeah, we don't need to think about it. We can just have it ticking over, so it's not going to take up as much of our time.
And the other thing that we've been doing is looking at the Kickstarter campaign. So I've made a separate video about this if you're not exactly sure what Kickstarter is and how we're going to use it. But the main thing about Kickstarter is obviously it requires a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at people we can contact, people who can help us out, and also just using social media. And I think that social media aspect of it is one thing that I think going into this process, I underestimated how time-consuming that is.
Yeah.
Like as a startup founder, that is all you do. You're tweeting, you're Facebook, doing all this sort of stuff. And it's crucial to try to build a bit of a following of people. And already everybody, if you're watching this video, you've been really supportive, so that's great. And we've also been using this thing called Thunderclap.
Yeah.
So I've also mentioned that in the Kickstarter video, but Thunderclap, you pledge your social media support, and so far we've got 13 people out of 100, so it'd be really great if you guys would still just click a button and support that.
Awesome.
But even with just 13 people, we've got an extended reach of 20,000 people, so
That's pretty awesome.
That's the kind of like difference it makes.
Yeah.
So it'd be great.
So, and then, the other sort of thing we started doing is towards the end of the week. I mean, Noah was working more on trying to like figure out how the Kickstarter's going to look, and then I started like looking at like the technical aspect of the product that we're developing.
Like
so I mean, we had like some discussions about what kind of features we thought would be cool from a usability standpoint, and to like give hackers and makers enough stuff to mess around with in the device, and how to make it friendly to both of those kind of
groups.
Yeah. So I guess that's
basically what we've been doing.
We did,
the next thing we're going to talk about is what we've learned, really. I've personally learned a lot. I don't know. I mean,
I've learned
so much. Every day you make mistakes. You do some things well. You make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So a nice thing perhaps we could do is talk about what mistakes we've made this week.
Yeah. I mean, and like what we like. Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, it was just sort of learning through my mistakes of not being flexible enough, and not having like the leeway to like accept changes and have something be like constantly shifting, because that's what you need to have.
The concept is always changing.
The concept's always changing. Even things like our website always changing. Like on Monday, we sort of finished the first draft of our website, and we were like, oh, this is fantastic, the blurbs are fantastic. And it took like talking to other people, asking like friends and
that was incredibly
family
useful.
members.
If you ever make a website, you're too close to it, you won't see problems in it. Show it to someone else, they will tell you everything that's wrong with it. People are really good at telling you things.
It was just the fact that we weren't saying things in a way that people understood. Our mission wasn't clear enough. And then another sort of cool thing related to that was when we got to the point through that, and also through explaining the idea in a conversation with people, we were getting better and better. And not just explaining it, but also understanding ourselves, which is a really, really cool thing.
So I agree with all of that, and I think, so I mean, kind of on that note, the biggest mistake I made this week was when we went into, what was that place called? Whatever it's called. It's better not to name it.
We shouldn't name it.
We went into, basically, we went into an office space.
We had no idea really what it was.
We had no idea what it was, but we knew it was something to do with startups, and we needed somewhere to do a video, and I thought it would be cool to go in there and potentially, like, just see what the space was like and stuff, and which wasn't a terrible idea, but we just walked in with like no plan. I was the one who got it wrong here, so I walked in with no plan of what we're going to say or like how we're going to do. Obviously we walked in and they just thought, who are these guys? And at which point we got a weird reaction from somebody, and it was mildly aggressive, and so I decided very maturely to react with equal aggression, and we obviously got nowhere. And then we found that after a while, we actually did explain why we were there and what we were doing, and they became incredibly receptive. So
we just when we went in, we just didn't explain ourselves very well. They thought we were like random vloggers.
Basically, and what I learned from that was just have your concept clear. Go in. People don't really care what you're doing. Just explain it very clearly and quickly, very clearly, and you can't go wrong, basically. Yeah. So that's basically a little mistake I made. Won't make that again.
And so, what are the biggest lessons that you think you've learned from the week?
Was a basic lesson about what it's like to run a startup. It's exhausting if you haven't really got that kind of sense. You never stop. It's 24/7 kind of job.
I mean, we've got academic work on top of that for next year.
So,
and it's like that, and you never really like switch off from thinking about your startup because you're the only people involved. It is your all of your creative output goes towards this pretty much.
I mean, even in the evening when we have meetups, so for example, Sam was meeting one of his friends who's in product design yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I met up with a couple of friends of mine from school who now run a design collective, really cool.
BAM Collective.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah. And we were just discussing potentially like collaborating with them.
Yeah.
So even I was
social stuff becomes all about like the business, which is sucks, but it's just one of those things. It's just like a lifestyle. So there's been a lot of lessons learned, and we're still learning all the time. We'll have new things to say.
I think the biggest thing, pretty much, is that you just need to just get into it, just get stuck in.
Yeah, if you have an idea, go for it. Because one thing I've been so surprised by is how receptive the community is. There's no sense of competition, really. It's just like, people are interested in what you're doing, and
they want to help you.
People will suggest, they'll say, "Oh, I know this person. I'll give you their contact details." And that's the collaborative kind of thing that makes
it's awesome. It's really good.
Entrepreneurship
and you don't really, especially with these kind of things, when you're bootstrapping it, when you're not spending much money, when it's just two guys just doing it. You don't stand to lose a whole lot.
No,
you stand to gain a ton, and you don't lose that much.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end of the day, if your product fails or whatever, you've still gained experience and you've still gained connections.
So that's what we've learned this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Everyone's been really, really supportive so far, and we're hugely appreciative of that. So please follow our Thunderclap as well, as I mentioned earlier.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.
Bye.